Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Today I'm in quite a dilemma. I have a birthday coming up and I want to make a birthday a gift box or a gift bag, and I'm like debating on what to use. Now, this kit is from the Diamond Press Occasions, that pop-up kit that they made. It's the big box with all the different things in it. And you know, I buy these things and I need to use more of it. So that's what I want to do today. Because, I mean, it has a lot of stuff. And sometimes with me, a lot can be overwhelming. In a good way. But, you know, it's just the way my brain works. But I figured I'll take out just the pieces that I want to try and give it a go. So I was going to start off with the little bird, but I think I'm leaning more towards the candles because they're just going to look happy, right? For a birthday. So I'm gonna bring out all 5 candles and we'll stamp them, we'll color them, and we'll see if we'll make either a bag or a box. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp these actually in VersaFine because I'm gonna use my Ohuhu markers, and they're water-based, so you have to use a waterproof ink. So let's start doing that, and I'm going to stamp them one by one because I know my platform, and my platform has areas that are more raised than others, and I just don't want to fuss with it. Look at that. Okay, let me bring out my chamois, and this is great. This paper has some dents there, so I'm going to try to avoid those. But yeah, I just wanted to use everything up. Let me straighten that out. Okay. And we can do that one more time. And then we'll die cut them all out. Look at that. That's cute. And I'm just stacking them on top of each other. All right, I'm gonna. Oh no, this one fits right here. And last one, and we'll put this one on this side so we avoid the little dents in the paper. Cute. All right. I'm gonna color them before I cut them out. Put these to the side. Rag away. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my markers out and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get to coloring this, and I put it on my platform. And I have 3 tones of yellow and 2 tones of yellow and one of like an orange. And I'm gonna start off with the 98, which is supposed to be my lightest color. And we're just gonna color that in. And then I'm gonna bring in my darkest one and just see where I want that. My next tone, which is marigold. Put that in between. And then finish it off with our lightest tone, which is, I'm not even going to pronounce it, so there it is. That's gonna send me into a stutter. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing for all of these guys. Okay, let's go in with our darkest. And I'm gonna do it all different kind of ways. Let's go in with our marigold. And we'll finish it off. And this just works well for candles, don't you think? These colors are very bright. Let's do our last one. And finish it off with our lightest tone just to blend and soften all those edges up. I think we're good to go there. Let's put these back. Let's do Bud Green. Bare Knees. And I need one that's a little darker, so we'll go with Ocean Green. Okay. I gotta tape this down again. I think I'm gonna do the green, the solid one. So we're gonna start off with our lightest. And now we're gonna go in with our mid-tone. And I'm going to go on each side of the candle just so to make it look kind of round. Oh, this one is darker. Hold on. So let's bring in this one. And bring in our mid-tone. And finish it off with our lightest. And that's just to blend all those edges. Okay. So we have that going on, and it's not as bright as it looks in the camera. Let's see if I can cover that up. There it goes. So it's a little darker than what you see. Okay. I'm going to get some other tones and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to work with our blues now. And I'm going to start off with a pastel blue. And I'm just going to color all of the, I'm trying to avoid those, those dots. So I'm just going to be really careful. Again, I mean, I went outside the line a little here, but you can come back with the gel pen or, you know, try to erase it. There's a blender with this kit as well. I just don't know how well it'll work. And since that's so close to the line, I'll just use a gel pen to get rid of it. So we're going to get this going. And now we're bringing our darker tones. Let me see the color of the other one. Oh, this is going to be super dark. Alright, let's do this one first. I don't know the feel of these brushes yet. I have to get used to them, so that's why I'm being like extra slow. I'm a little faster with the alcohol ink markers because I already know more or less how far the ink will extend from the tip, right? Because I mean, the ink will flow. So I can put a dot here and it's just gonna spread. So that's the only thing I have to get used to. As with all different mediums, you just gotta get used to the way they react on different papers, and you adjust. So that's where I'm at. I'm in that adjustment stage, which means that I end up coloring slower. So you'll have a lot of pauses in this video so I can speed it up, but we'll get it done. And now we'll bring back our lightest tone, but I'm gonna add some of this up here and down here. Okay. Just soften those edges and finish this up. So these blend really nice. They kind of feel like you're using an alcohol ink marker. So yeah, I'm really pleasantly surprised by that. The only thing is learning how it's going to react on my paper. And we're good. This is not even watercolor paper, so I mean it's holding up pretty well. I haven't had any of that bubbling or the tearing you would get. So I wouldn't saturate it too much because I think you would get, but for the most part it's behaving well, and the colors are very vivid, very pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish coloring these offline just to speed the video up a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so they're all colored, and look how vibrant those colors are. I put some glitter on that one and some shimmer on this one, and I'm just waiting for them to dry so I could run them through my die cutting machine, because this stamp does have a die to it, but I don't want it to tear or anything. So I'm gonna let it fully dry and then we'll die cut them, and I'll come back when they're die cut, because I mean you guys know how to die cut already. But look how pretty they look. I'm so happy with them. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so we're gonna make our box, and I'm gonna make it a 4x4, and I think it's gonna be maybe 1.5 inches. This is gonna hold some little trinkets. I can't say what it is. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the first piece at 7x7. So let's do that first. And then I'm gonna cut another card at 6x6 for my lid. Okay. Let's see, maybe just a little over the 6, just so I have a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, let me put this all away and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna score these, and the 6-inch one I'm gonna score at 1 inch. And I know most of you know how to do these boxes. They're very simple, but I like to go over it anyway in case we have anyone new. And then the 7-inch, we're gonna score at 1.5 inches. And this will allow me to put any, you know, box filler. So we're gonna do this. And I'm using a paper from Amazon called Accent Opaque. I buy it because it's pretty thick, and I use it for a lot of my construction, also for a lot of my bases, because basically it's inexpensive and it works really well. So yeah, good paper, especially for construction. All right, and even card bases. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring in my other bone folder, and we're gonna score these. Well, not score them, we're gonna burnish them. I always get those two mixed up. You know, I try so hard to be like using the right terminology and whatnot that sometimes that ends up making my videos like kind of crazy or kind of boring because I slow down. And it's bad enough I have to slow down because of my stutter. So let's do this. And one more. So we have that. Okay. I'm going to show what I do here, and then I'll do the rest off camera so we could decorate and not so much with the construction. So I normally just go up to one of the score lines and just nick the little side, so then I have somewhere to glue. So I'm going to do all that, and then we will come back to decorate our box, right? So we don't have to do the boring stuff. All right, so just so you know, for those of you who are new, you would bring these up and glue these little tabs here, and that forms your box. All right, so I'm gonna do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I brought out some papers that I thought worked well together, and we're gonna cut our first panel. And since the top is a little bit bigger, I'm gonna cut it at a little bit over the 4 inches, just so I can have a nice border around. Now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. So let's see how that fits. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then we're gonna bring this paper, and I really want to get the teal colors in, so I'm gonna cut this first, just about there, and then I'm gonna flip it. And let's see. So the first piece is gonna be over, and then this one's gonna be under. But I want to make sure that I get a nice even cut. So we have that. And let's see. I think I have to trim it a little bit more, but we'll see. Yeah, and I'll trim it from this side. So maybe like 1/8 of an inch more. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I'll just make sure everything is nice and even. Let's see. And then take off a little bit here. So now we should have you a little more straight. And there we go. So I figured we would do something like this. We can always cut like another white background to put, but let's see how it looks, because I want to put a sentiment on it, so it may not matter. Okay. let's see. So we're gonna do something like that, just like bunching them on top of each other. We may need one more candle. And I'm gonna pop some up with foam tape and some are gonna be flat. But I mean, you get the more or less. And then we'll put our sentiment on top with a white card. So let me get our sentiment going. I'm gonna cut the side panels out of the teal, and they're gonna be a little less than an inch by a little less than 4 inches, or maybe we'll do 4 inches there. So I'll give you the exact measurement when I cut it out, and we'll see. We'll go from there. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna bring out a sentiment which I wanted to use. And this one that says, "May all your birthday wishes come true." And I'm gonna try to get this as even as possible. And I'm gonna do that because I'm kind of figuring there's some of us that don't have all kinds of dies and whatnot. So I'm gonna do a sentiment without any of those fancy dies, just regular cutting it. And then we can layer it up if we need to. So let's stamp this out. And we stamp it one more time. That's good. Okay. Let me get my rag. Sorry about the noise, guys. Okay, so let's put that away. And now we can work with this guy. Let me bring my smaller platform out. I'm sorry, my smaller guillotine, because that other one is just too big. There's my squeaky chair. Okay. And here I'll get to see, you know, if it's even or not and move it around so it is even. So we're going to do that. And we're just going to trim off a teeny bit here. And then we're going to come close. I think maybe about there. And I'm going to hold it. And then we can trim closer here. And if you want to know, I mean, if you put this there, you'll see where the bee lands, and then more or less I'm trying to mimic the other one. So maybe about there. Then we could look at it. We can go a little bit closer. Maybe just about there. And we can always cut up a little bit more because I want a little low. I want to try to make it look that, you know, I centered it, right? It's about an inch. And okay. All right, so we have that. And that one is, let's see, it ends up being 3 and 5/8. So 3 5/8 by an inch. Okay, so that's gonna go here, and I'm gonna mat that on maybe this color. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll mat that, and then we'll put that in the center. Okay, and we'll put all of our candles behind it. So there's 2 ways we can do this. We can glue the candles first, or we can actually pop this up on some foam tape and just leave enough space to bring the candles in. And that way we can see where we really want the candles. So I think that's what we're going to do. You can angle it if you want, but I'm going to put it straight for now. We may even put it like in the center and then have the candles I don't know. We'll see. I also wanted to add ribbon. I think, well, I wanted my white ribbon. Oh no, this one will work. I'm going to put the ribbon under my panels. And I need it there because the lid is a little bit big, so I want to be able to tie it off with a ribbon. And it also makes it look pretty, so. And I want to tie it off to the side, so we'll have a bow off to the side, which is kind of cute. All right, so I'm going to cut that. And then we'll fix the edges after we're done. Okay, so let's start off with our actual ribbon. And it's going to go here. And I'm only going to glue it to the top, so I'll glue it and then I should put those side panels on first, right? So let's do that. And they're right here. So we'll put these on first and then we'll glue the ribbon. I think I want to trim them just a little bit more because I want more of the, you know, similar edge. And I always like those white borders. So yeah, let me trim them. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have that, and I actually cut them at 7/8 of an inch. So I think I like that better. And we could go ahead and glue all of these down. And so they are going to look like that. I always like move it around a little bit so the glue kind of like spreads out. And then slide it into place. There we go. So the colors and stuff of the papers are a little bit more muted. I kind of like that because I want my candles to really pop. And sometimes if you put too many bright colors, then your focal point gets kind of lost in it. So I like, you know, using some brights and some muted colors. So whatever I want to make sure pops, pops. Put that one there. And we are good to go. Now I just need to see, and I think I want this to be my front. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So this will get tied on the side, which means I have to glue my ribbon. Let me see. Just about there. Wait, I need to make sure it wraps around the box. I may need a bigger piece of ribbon, so yeah. No, I think we're still good. Yeah, I think we could still make a bow or just tie it. I think we're good. All right. Let's go for it. I know most of the time I want to have more than less, but it's already cut. Okay. And we're going to let that set for a second. And then we can put our top panel. And I'm doing under both panels, so it's a little stronger. I don't want it to tear when people try to tie it off. It's all about security. Okay, let's put this one on. Same technique, just move it a little bit. That spreads all that glue. And I'm just going to take this off and press on this side. Make sure I get all of that. All right. So it's going to face this way. And now we can add this panel. And then we could decide how we're going to do our candles. Let's move that a little bit. Okay. So we can glue this flat or we could pop it up. I think we're going to glue it flat. Yeah, okay. Right. And then we could trim it down. So we need it just about there. So it gives us a nice little border. You can't overdo it because it's already wide, right? So you can see if we put it here, then it kind of looks like it's tied off. But let's get our trimmer. And we're just going to take off a little bit on the sides. I took the guard off of mine just because I need to get close, but you need to be very careful. If you're not comfortable using a guillotine, do not take off the guard. It protects your fingers. Okay, so in that sense, don't do what I do. Okay, so we can do it two ways. We can pop this up here and then stick our candles in, which also looks cute. And let me see. Put our sparkly one in the middle. Or make our teal. I think this is the one that's going to go in the middle. Just because it pops a little more. And we could do something like that. So then we would have to glue our candles down flat and add any kind of dimension before we do any of this. Oh, but I like that. Okay. Yeah, let's go for it. Okay. So we're going to have them around there, right? Okay, the middle one is going to go here. So let's start with the middle one. And of course I'm going to have to glue a little higher because of our sentiment, right? We don't want to, if we glue these straight down, then we get rid of some of that. So we're going to just glue it a little bit higher. And let's go for it. Okay, I'm going to turn these to the side only so I can see, you know, how straight I'm getting them. So we're going to put this one here. And then this one could come a little closer. Right, just about there. Let's do this one first. It's garbage trucks removing our garbage today, so you're gonna hear some noise, stuff that I just can't avoid. Okay, and now we could do our pink. See, normally I would want to have the same amount of space available on the bottom. But we can always add something to there if we needed to. have that. And now we could pop this up on foam tape, and we could either put it on the bottom or maybe down here. Right? Do you want it there? I kind of like it there. I'm going to go with the original thought, but I'm going to put it on foam tape so then it's a little higher. And yeah, we'll go from there. Let me get my foam tape. Okay. So you're definitely going to want to put glue to the back of your foam tape just to be able to move it around a little bit. Let me trim this off just to get a good edge. So let's put this one down first. And I'm going to go all the way across. I'm not going to try to save any of it. And we're going to go close to the top. And we're going to have a really solid piece, which is good for a box. You know, you don't want it to collapse or start looking all funky. All right, so now we're going to add our glue to make sure this thing moves around. I'm starting to get a hang of all these other adhesives, right? Because I was fixed on the art glitter glue, but you know what? It's true. Everything has a purpose. Like this one gives you a little bit more time to move things around than the art glitter glue does, and the diamond press gives you a lot more wiggle room. So if you're working on a project that you're not sure where you want things to land, then I would definitely use that one. Most of the time for my online stuff, I use the fast glue that tacks quickly, just so I can move through the project a little faster. But it's not always convenient because sometimes you need that extra time, and when you don't have it, it's a mission. Okay, so now for our box, I cut out another little piece that I'm going to put in the center, and I have all these little panels, and I have one more for the top. So you want to make sure everything looks pretty, right? When they open it up, it looks good on the inside and on the out. I'm not going to tack this one down. Well, maybe do I have to? No, it's not even coming out. Okay, so we're going to do our side panels now. And when I cut it, it left us a little jagged. So I'm just going to go on with my scissor and just clean it up a little bit. Because, you know, I like things to look pretty and kind of give the impression that you bought it. So let's do this. And I'm kind of glad that I went ahead and glued this first, because my intention was to add glossy accents to the candles. But I mean, I would have lost like an inch of glossy accents because you're not able to see it. So now I can go back and just add glossy accents to the parts that I want it, you know, to shine, right? To make it look like it's a nice shiny candle. I think this is coming out super cute. Sometimes simple things are the prettiest things, right? You don't have to overthink it. And for all you creators, I know that we tend to, oh, but you know, we have to do this, or this person's doing that. Cut yourself some slack and just have fun with it again. It's less stressful, and you bring the joy back into crafting. So if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. If it doesn't come out great, well, it's paper. You try again. So, foil brat. Okay. All right. So we have that. We have our cover. And then we can tie this It's not going to be the biggest bow, but I think it'll work. So. And it does. So I just got to bring this down. And we have that. So now it's nice and secure. Very cute box. And let's bring in our glossy accents. I'll trim this down and singe the edges so it's a nice tight fit. Now you really don't need to do this. Sometimes I overdo things, but I put glossy accents on everything. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll do the first one with you and then I'll do the rest and let them dry. But look at that. Look at all the stuff that you saved, the material you saved just by gluing it first. My first instinct would have been like to do them and let them dry and then put everything together. I'm kind of glad I waited. Okay, so that's what they're going to look like. You see now you got some shine on there. I'll get them all done and I'll be right back. Okay, so glossy accents are on and look at the difference that makes. Love, love, love. Let me bring those lights down so you can see it a little better. Look how cute. Okay, so that's my project. It's going to hold a birthday gift that's going to be special. And yeah, that's what we have. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great day. Make your boxes. Like, you could get an inexpensive gift and make it look super cute just by adding something to it. And I think the ribbon was a great touch. I love the way that looks. I think I'm going to make some more of these and like keep them in my stash available because this is good for anyone. So that is it. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Have a wonderful day. If it's your weekend, have a wonderful weekend and I'll see you soon.